Donut Media did an interior upgrade, including some electronics and an exhaust, which we're not going to include in this video, but they did an upgrade of mainly the interior. And they said this interior upgrade cost them around $10,000. So I said, what an opportunity to show my viewers a better way to save money. Not necessarily a better way to do it, because I think they did a phenomenal job. I just think that if some of you want to do that, we all know that the equalizer in a build are funds, right? You run out of money, you can't do upgrades, you're gonna have to work part-time jobs, you're gonna cut grass, you're gonna wash cars. I don't know what you may do, but don't do anything that you might be ashamed of to get the buck. So I said, let's go over some of these things that they installed in this Civic, which by the way is a pretty good build, K-swap build, now doing the interior, sweet wheels, overall very nice packaged car, and also something that if you wanted to check out and kind of maybe see how that's turning out and you're thinking about doing an EG or EK or even an Integral, which I have a K series and I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna sell it because I'm gonna stay true to the B series. I'm gonna stay true to the B, all right? But let's get into this. So they started with the Recaro seats. These are Recaro SR3s, Wildcats in the yellow. Very nice seat, very nice support, you know, bolster in the seat. But I do also like the way they combine that with the valve cover being yellow, plus that teal green in the Honda is already a nice color, and if you actually get that paint job redone, you can have a very clean car if you're not looking to spend a lot of money on just trying to get a custom job with custom mix like I am right now. But anyway, Recaro, all right, SR3 seats, Wildcats, ran them $2,450 is what Donut Media said it cost them for these seats. So I'm gonna give you a combination of interior seats that you can use that should be comparable, and literally from a company that also is race and performance inspired, but save you some money. So if you start off by going to Sparco, and Sparco's not paying any money for this, hopefully one day I'll get to the point where I can get ads and contracts to perhaps make a living. But anyway, Sparco R333 seats, very nice, okay? They're gonna run you $575 each. You need two of these things, that's gonna put you at about $1150, all right? Depending, we're not gonna include shipping or tax, which could change and depending on what area you're in. Then you're gonna need your sliders. You're gonna need something to adjust those. Now, these happen to be seats that will sit on the base. There are other seat options that you can get around that price, maybe a bit more, but then if you start creeping up, then you're getting outside of what we're trying to do here, which is to save money, okay? So with that being said, you're gonna need your sliders. Your sliders are gonna be $85 each, which will run you $170 total. Then you'll need your base to attach your seat, your sliders and everything to the actual platform itself. Those are gonna be $185 each, which are gonna run you up to $370. And then you're gonna need your hardware. I recommend you get the hardware for each seat because it does make the install a bit more simple and clean. Your hardware is only gonna be $14 per pack, and that will include not only side mount bracket hardware, but the base hardware as well. So you get two different types of hardware. Depending on what seat you have, you could use $14 each. Total those up, $28. Everything combined is $1,718, which will save you $732 alone, just right there. Who's not liking that? Who's not liking to save $732? Sign me up. So then the next area that we're gonna get into is the safety harness. Who's gonna have race seats and then not do a 4-point harness? That's crazy. You're gonna have race seats and then get in and do the shoulder thing. If you're doing that, if that's what you gotta do, I'm not judging you, but it doesn't look good at all, and it's probably not the best thing for your seat. They chose to do the Takata 2-inch harnesses, which by the way included attachments for the Hans device. This is something that you may not even need, all right? If you're not racing legitimately on the track somewhere where they're requiring you to have a Hans device, which typically is going to require you to have either a certain level of horsepower, which will put you in a certain class, or you're doing out there circuit track racing, they need you to have that. So you don't need that, but these harnesses cost $1,200, okay? So what we can do to save you some money in this department, get the Sparco 2-inch 4-point harness. You have an option of 3 colors, I believe red, blue, and black. These are gonna cost you $139 each. Now, this is going to total you up $278, which will save you $922 on your harnesses alone. That's a whopping saving. Now, let me explain something. There are two different type of harnesses with the Sparco and probably other brands as well. You're gonna have the bolt in. I just recommend get that. It's easy. You get it in, they come with the bolts. All the holes that you take your OEM seat safety devices out with, you'll bolt the harnesses in those areas and you're good. Now, if you get the snap in, you're gonna need to get the eye loop holes bolt kit so that you could bolt that in, and then you're snapping your harnesses in on each side. So keep that in mind. I don't know if you wanna get that different, but never know what you want to do, but still, you're going to save still a considerable amount of money, even if you get the snap in, and then you still have to get the additional hardware to put the snap in safety harnesses in. So $922 saving you right there just on harnesses. Next, very interesting area. I do like that they did the EG, I believe SIR white face cluster. Now this cluster, $500 for this cluster. You can look it up on eBay. They're gonna range about that, $499 to $550, depending on the location, the condition. Price gouging, people out there price gouging, so you might find something well above $500, but point is, around $500 should be where you are. They also did apexy white face gauges that came with a control system. So altogether, the gauge package, the cluster, cost them around, which the apexy gauges, they ranked them at $800. $800. So totaled up with the cluster and the two gauges for water temp and oil pressure, apexy with the controller, they came up $2,275, okay? Damn. All right, so there's a less expensive option. I say less expensive because I don't want to say cheap, because when you say cheap, you're talking about items that may not be comparable as far as product integrity. We're not looking to risk product integrity so much right now. We're looking to find products that are comparable, that are comparable, and will save us some money, yet give us the look and the functionality that we want. So let's say less expensive. So a less expensive option here, because there's two stages that I'm going to go in here. I'm going to get real crazy. I'm going to get medieval on your ass when it comes to this section. So anyway, autometer gauges, if you got those, $500. Notice that the two gauges with the controller from Apexy were $800. So even if you do the autometer gauges, you're going to come in $300 cheaper. True, not coming with a controller. Some of the autometer gauges already have kind of their own controller mixed in, but what you're really looking for here is a gauge that is incrementally better in display of what's going on with your car than your OEM gauge that completely has a mile gap between each stash mark, and you don't know what's up until you get there and it's already too hot. You want to know before things start happening, where's this temp, and literally see it creeping up with a standard or an indication of where that real temp is or that oil pressure is. It makes no sense to put thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in your motor and then not add devices that help you monitor that motor and or save that motor. But there's a different option, and this option will take a little bit more going into. So I would imagine that Donut Media is using a K Pro with this K series swap in this EG, and likely it might be the D17. If I'm wrong, I'm still not too wrong about the price of the K Pro, okay? The Honda unit. So with the Honda K Pro unit, you're looking at $900, $975 depending on your vendor. Okay, so if you take that $500 plus the $800 they used in the Apexy plus the $500 they used on the cluster, you're talking about $2,275 total, which I already went over. Now, if you go this route, we're omitting the autometer gauges. We're tossing those out. We're putting those in the trash. We're not even going to do that. I'm going to give you a better option that I think is better, more clean, more up to date, and definitely will still give you that incremental marks of showing you where your monitor is, and even help you monitor more in display than the gauges they use from the SIR EG and or the Apexy gauges they use, which were external. So we're gonna get rid of the gauges, boop, clean those out. We're gonna get rid of the analog gauges in the cluster. We're gonna go digital, baby. All right, so if you go digital, you're still gonna need your K Pro, because you're gonna need an updated ECU that's gonna be able to communicate with digital type platforms that are out today. So we're gonna go ahead and go with a digital display cluster that's gonna be made for your car so that it looks clean when it's in there when we're taking the OEM cluster out. Then we're gonna go with a digital display unit, an electronic unit display screen that typically runs about 7 inches in display, and will add your fuel or any other indicators that you wanna put on there. That's gonna be $265 for our molded cluster to put the display in. Our actual electronic digital, I'm so crazy. Our actual digital unit is going to be about $533, and the K Pro still around $975. taking us up to $1,773, saving us an entire difference of $503. And not only are we more up to date, digital displays, get those two other meters out of there, they could be eyesores, and we have all the functionality and readings we need on this digital display that's in this cluster, all the way from RPM tax to speedos to even track maps to 0 to 60 type timing data, anything that the K Pro can take into account. Plus you have the Honda app, so you know the K Pro is very vastly talented with giving you information. It will be fed over to this digital display and you can really use that. Before with the analog, you couldn't use any of that unless you use the Honda app to tap in. But now all of that information will be on a 7-inch screen in front of you, which looks killer, all right? And even doing that still, you're saving $503. That's a pretty good setup. Next, we're gonna get into the pedals they use. They use the Mugen Sport pedals that came in at $180. Yes, Sparco has pedals too. They even have the carbon ones, which I actually own, and they still have metal type pedals. They're the race pedals. These pedals only cost you 50 bucks, saving you $130. Now, I will tell you something here. There are pedal options out there that I will not suggest because this is where we get cheap and we get unsafe. The pedal option at Sparco, I feel, is very comparable because it's still a bolt-in. You still need to drill holes, bolt the pedal set into your actual OEM pedals, and there you have it. So at least safety. You don't want a pedal sliding off while you're shifting gears or trying to brake and cause an incident, or even worse, death. Yes, death. I mean, you drive right off a cliff if you can't stop your car, and who knows what steering capabilities are. Don't use those pedals with these brackets that are just kind of pressure kept on. Don't do that. It's not safe. The steering wheel, okay, they use the Dogfight steering wheel, 350 millimeters, saving you some space and some leg room at $345. Typically, these steering wheels I noticed on their website are sold out. I think all of them were sold out. But another option is back again in the Sparco wheelhouse, the R375, a nice steering wheel at $275, saving you $70, and still race-inspired company, competitive company, very well known and solid products. I have 2 Street Fighter Sparco seats that I'm using, and they are also getting the shells painted to match my car now. So Sparco is pretty good. Sparco is the shit. I think Sparco is an awesome product, so definitely take that out. So then they did the Works release hub for the steering wheel. Now this release hub is $350, $380. But if you go to Sparco, they're around $350. You can find some other brands that are in that same realm, about $300. So we're not going to touch that because there are other options. I even have another option. I have a tilt steering wheel option, and that was around $200 and something. But still, if we're talking about racing this car and you're out there taking risk, you want to minimize anything that can go wrong. Steering wheel release kits that you know that I'm speaking of, that come in a plethora of colors, may not be up to the task with all the yerking and jerking you're gonna be doing on this steering wheel, trying to do time attack, trying to do circuit racing, doing drag racing. Technically, you're not yerking and jerking, you kind of stay still. You might get away with that, but still, it's safety. Safety matters. So we didn't touch the price on the Works release hub, but you can still get another brand in Sparco, and I would do that honestly to go ahead and keep everything flowing with the same safety devices, the seat, the harness, the brackets, the sliders, all of that. Go ahead and go with Sparco. Keep it flowing. They did the Workvolt TE37s. Very nice wheel, very respectable wheel, very nice look. They got an awesome price on these. They listed that they had paid $2,064. Definitely out there on the West Coast, you can get things a little cheaper when it comes to these items. Definitely, I didn't find a price that was even this inexpensive. And if you can find those wheels for that, go ahead and snatch them up. I think that's a fair price on a wheel. I've paid more for my wheels. I have SSR SP1s, custom built to spec, so I paid considerably a lot more than this, and I had, my other set was Avant-Garde, and those are typically around, you could probably say $1,000 a piece or more per wheel. So add that up. Now, there are some things that they had involved in this build that I chose not to really touch on because I felt like the price not only was justified, but even trying to find a less expensive option. Typically, there were some things there that I didn't care for, and I actually own some of the products that they used in this build. So the first thing I own is the Auto Power roll cage, the bolt-in roll cage. I do actually own that. Have it out of the car right now. Very good product, very sound, very quality made. So we're not going to touch that price. And those roll cages start at that price for the type that they got, around $800 to $850. The other thing they did was they did the carpet. Now, yes, they had to cut holes in the carpet, and this is going to be the case when you're saving money on the carpet. So you're still going to get a quality carpet, but you're going to have to do a little bit of work to get it fit in. But at $135, I'm doing that work. So we're not going to touch the price that they spent on the carpet. That to me was phenomenal, and I myself have actually ordered that same carpet that I use in my Integra right now, so definitely worth it. Now, the other thing that I had to do a little research on locally, some upholstery shops, is they had their headliner done in Alcantara. Cool. They also had several other pieces done, the quarter panel garnish and some other plastic pieces done in Alcantara. So what I did was I called a local interior shop, asked them about how much they would charge me to do my headliner. I took that price and multiplied it by 3 for each side because of the material that may need to be used. That price for the interior pieces to be done in Alcantara came up to $1,080. Not bad for interior work there. There are some other options like you possibly doing yourself. I'm going to do my own interior here, and I'm going to film it for the channel. I'm definitely going to go ahead and try to attack my own headliner first, and I'll record that for content for you all. So if it's something you want to try, you'll be able to see me mess up, and then you don't have to do where I screwed up. You don't have to make those mistakes. I'll make them. And of course, I'll pay more money because I'm using material. I have to take the shit off. So that is what I will say about those alternatives. But overall, with all the savings and alternate parts that I listed for you to get versus what Donut Media used, which is not bad, but if you're looking to try to do something similar, but the money is just a little bit more tight, you saved, or I saved you, $3,000 approximately. $3,000, okay? That's pretty whopping good. $3,000, you can find something else now to put $3,000 into with your build to help you get further and closer to completing that. So yeah, what do you think about that? $3,000, you mad at me for $3,000? We're not even getting tax returns right now that are $3,000. Matter of fact, I've paid every year for, I don't know how long. I've paid more than that every year in taxes. It's crazy. I mean, we're not going to get into that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this content. I hope you enjoy building your car. I hope you enjoy trying to find different ways to save money. I'm definitely going to always try to find different ways for you to do something similar with just as much quality, but less expensive for your pocket, so you can take that money and put it elsewhere. You know that's what I'm about here on this channel. Please keep an eye out for the wide body build right now. It's in paint and body. We're going to be doing more content on that as it comes out of there, and we're going to start building this car back up. Please like, subscribe, but I will see you all later. Just build it. Peace. Thanks for tuning in and watching another video here at Wolfpack Performance. Check out some of my other content on Formula One issues, our topics, and our DIY products on how to customize your vehicle. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.